Oh, I didn't start it doesn't matter. We'll be all right. That is not the camera on.
Yeah. Got. Bells hooked up finally with a 5600 with the NAS running on it, and then the bar, and I got the drive set up and I've been copying. Like I said, clone my Indie server. It's pulling over.
Howdy, Art.
Hi there.
And then I'm
Okay.
doing like 85 so it's like. And then
I've broken something somewhere.
I was copying zipped ISOs off my system to it. And it was copied, right? Those over 190.
I wondered if you guys were going to show up today. I understand you had a little weather back there.
The weather
Oh, drizzly.
hasn't been too bad today.
I thought you had a lot of wind and
Yesterday,
power failures and so forth and so on.
yesterday we did.
I didn't even wake up.
I was saying, it only affected like, took out like what, 20,000?
Okay. I have no idea what's going on with this camera.
Okay, is this a new camera?
Different, no, same camera. Oh, no.
Well, I see a little, oh, there you are. Hey, Barry.
I don't see us, but
I don't see us either. The heck?
You're gone again.
We're going to try this again.
I don't understand how Steve always,
Okay.
how does Steve always get out of the camera? Am I on the wrong side?
There we go. Now,
Okay. And there's Steve. Okay.
there. Now Steve is in the thing. He didn't get to escape this time.
Okay.
What is going on?
So my daughter was telling me that she lives down in the middle of Cincinnati, and she was saying that they had heavy rain and a lot of wind and trees down and so forth and so on.
Yep, yesterday was pretty bad. But today it's just kind of
Yeah.
it's just kind of typical weather.
Okay.
My mom called me at like 10 o'clock at night, telling me to be careful because the tornadoes were coming. I'm like, okay. And I went back to sleep. Yeah. I woke up this morning and everything was fine.
Okay. Well,
Well,
Not last night, the night before, three nights ago, when that storm went through and all the sirens went off and all that. I'd sit there and listen to hams, and they were pretty much saying the same thing the scanners were saying. I think one of them must have had a scanner and he was just repeating
weather service.
everything. I could just listen to the scanner for this. You're not telling me anything I don't know. Good bunch of guys though. I've met a couple of them there, but their updates were, "Oh, I'm in my house. I'm just listening to the scanner." Okay. That night, 3 nights ago, I watched that storm come up from the south, and it didn't look like it was going to be much of anything. And by the time it got here, the wind was so strong I could barely close the door to get back inside. And I was like, okay. this is something.
Sure, took everybody, you lost its people or something, didn't it?
Yeah, we missed looking on our way down.
Oh, it's weird, it just looked like it snapped it right off at the base of the ceiling and just laid it on top of the roof, all intact.
Really?
Yeah. At least I put the picture of the glass.
That we had some very strong winds. A lot of trees were down, a lot of telephone lines or electric lines, but nobody up there really lost any power for any length of time.
So you didn't lose power at all, Leroy?
No, I lost power on both nights. But only for, I don't, it was less than a minute. It basically winked a couple of times. If I had a battery backup, I would never even know that the power went out.
Uh-huh.
Mine didn't even blink. Anytime anything happens with my power, I get a ping on my phone and I got nothing.
Sometimes they'll get them on the that. But they've been really cleaning all the lines out by us for about a year now, cutting everything back away from all the poles.
Yeah, see, that's the weird thing with when we first moved in, you could hear it on the scanner. I mean, there were power outages all over the city and we got nothing. Here the past year or so, it's power outage after power outage after power outage. I'm like, what the heck did they do? Oh,
Forgot the big thing too, is they put that solar plant in on the other road, so they had to upscale all the lines for that solar panel farm.
we are dressed up today, aren't we?
Yes. Hey, Mike, what's happening?
I had to work today and the other people that I was working with decided to take a break. That was hours ago and they haven't come back. At some point, if I get a telephone call, I'll have to leave you.
They've given up for the day. They've gone home. It's after 5.
Well, part of them are in California, so
Oh, it's not after 5.
it's not after 5, and they don't they don't care about us Midwesterners.
Got it.
So what are you guys doing anyway?
What am I? Is that directed toward me?
Well, yeah, the question is, what are you and the team that you're on doing?
It's in a preparation for litigation, and I can't discuss it further.
Oh, so this is not a regular job kind of a thing.
No. Well,
Okay.
it is for me, but no, not for everybody else.
Okay.
I apologize about the deal about the big gaming monitor. Had I been able to recognize it was screwed up, I wouldn't have even posted it. So my apologies.
It happens. Not a big deal.
Well, I got really excited when I looked it up on the internet and saw it was like a $699 device. It's like, oh.
I'm just curious, just out of general curiosity, where did you find that at?
It is the same place where the guy has been consistently throwing out things. You may recall the Apple machine.
Uh-huh.
Okay, he threw that out. He's thrown out keyboards, monitors, computers, and the last thing he threw out was a scanner.
Okay.
Yeah. Um,
By this, you mean a flatbed scanner or
yes, a
okay.
flatbed.
Well, there was 6 months ago, maybe last summer, maybe a year ago. There was a guy in Monroe selling one of those monitors, dirt cheap. But when you picked it up and you looked really close, it had spidered everywhere. I mean, it was cracked beyond the limits. The guy said, when I asked him about it, he said, yeah, it got knocked off the stand and cracked, and he was selling it cheap because it was going to be like $300 for the panel, and he just didn't want to spend that kind of money on it to fix it.
Well, it's $300 to buy the panel, probably another 150 to ship it, and
So
you might as well go buy a new one. That's like working on the backlights on those too. They're horrific.
yeah,
The inverter's not a big deal, or
Well,
the board, but
I was that close to actually buying it until I sat there and thought about it. I'm like, I don't need this monitor. I really don't want to
get
screw
one
around with
so
it.
if you want a monitor, get one that's working.
I mean, like you said, when I looked it up, it was like a $700 or $800 monitor. I'm like,
Yeah.
holy
Yeah,
crap.
but the diagnostics info I gave you was for an LCD. That's an LED monitor. So, I mean, it is possible, it's fixable.
Well,
I mean,
You have to replace the screen though, right?
maybe, depends on what's actually wrong with it.
Well, the one that I saw, I'm fairly sure you would have to replace the screen. And I think he thought the same thing, because the screen was an insane amount of money. It was half the cost of the monitor, but
almost everything's half the cost of whatever it is, depending on what
I-
part it is.
and I went,
Nuts.
it's still a good deal if you're somebody that fixes that stuff, that would still be a good deal.
Well,
But I am not somebody that fixes that
the
stuff.
problem is, like I was saying, by the time you put the labor into it, you're never gonna get it out. You ain't gonna sell it for
Well,
retail.
If he was selling it for like $15.
Yeah.
Another 150 if you do the labor, if you do the work yourself, that's your
Yeah, and it's a
Were-
huge monitor.
another $300. That's not a horrible deal, and you might be able to recoup your costs off of it if you sold it. But if you were buying it to use, it's not so bad, I guess.
Well, for me, I have no interest in a huge gaming monitor because I'm not a gamer. And it had the specs said it was extremely high resolution, like double 4K. And I thought, wow, that's pretty neat, but it has no value to me.
Yeah. Well,
Well, the board
Yeah,
selling on eBay.
I have a lot of screen space, 2 or 3 monitors, 4 monitors in one spot. And that's handy, being able to have email on one and what you're working on one, and a couple of terminals on one. I can never.
I agree. Multiple monitors I have that here. Multiple monitors are very convenient, but a big wraparound immersion screen for me to meet you guys on Zoom. I'm sorry, but you're not enhanced enough for me to care about that.
Well, you could Sudoku or something on half the screen or
But
watching A team on the other half and then wouldn't have to see us at all.
that's,
Just listening to me.
somebody had one of those, big ass wraparound monitors. And it replaced like 3 of his monitor, just
Oh,
one monitor replaced the 3 that he was
There's
using.
no control software at all,
So-
so, you know.
It's,
You can make it snap to sections?
yeah.
Ooh, how do you do that? Okay.
I know it's possible. I've seen it demoed. I never messed with one.
Yeah,
Martha has 2 of the curved monitors.
Yeah.
Since she's legally blind, the Ohio Blind Institute came in and said, oh, we can give you better monitors, and she's got 2 30-inch gaming monitors.
Windows 10 will snap.
yeah, I was gonna say that I've seen it done, but I've seen it done in
I've
Windows.
got to like 385 or 1200 or something. It looks when people look. They lot of monitors, they're supposed to be like 3 legal pages. They're not. I mean, they go
Eric, you're turning.
to. Well,
Gotta go. Bye.
Oh,
hi,
bye.
Mike.
Nice
Good
seeing
night.
you. He's working.
Cheap. I got on there like $2.99 for the office when everybody else was like a grand.
That's the one that I printed on my old Flash Forge printer that I printed at high resolution. You can feel the lines, but they're really hard to see.
Yeah, that's nice. Did you have stuff in your filament?
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know where the stuff came from.
What is it, a different color or what?
There's a couple of little spots in there, just
There's a couple of spots that are
That's left in the printer.
may have been left over filament, but this is one at home. I couldn't read this, but here, you can actually read what's on the back. That is pretty awesome. It did better than I thought it did. Not that I need to print anything.
Build a shelf for your tank.
I just thought that was cool.
I didn't see the print on the back.
Put your glasses on.
No, that'll make it worse.
That'll make it work.
Excuse me.
I saw it.
Yeah.
I saw it when I held it in at the right angle for the light.
Any idea what it says?
3D benchy.
If you say so.
Let's
My 2020 I systems are not 2020 anymore.
Yeah, I'm good if I can.
that's
Anything for here.
that's almost as good as my SLA. I was reading something that about how you could modify and do high resolution prints with the FDM printers and print, model statues and D&D characters and all kinds of that kind of stuff, and it wouldn't take nearly as long as doing with the SLA printers. Yeah, maybe.
Let's see, something they do talking about printing that kind of stuff on a 45. Sometime.
Well, does some of the filament come with um, foreign material in it?
It depends on the filament. Like some of that,
Ones with wood and stuff in it.
yeah. I mean, they make wood filled filament. They make
That's like sawdust?
It's longer fibers.
yeah.
It looks kind of like wood when you print it.
A lot of the filament that's got some sort of glimmer to it or whatever has something in it.
Hmm.
I know they made a metal filled filament. I'm not real sure how that worked. Or what
It's
that,
like metal particles kind of a thing?
I guess. You were supposed to be able to, you printed your print a little bit larger and then you would burn off the plastic. And you would have
Really? Hmm.
a metal print. That stuff was expensive though. That was not cheap filament.
I would have taken a lot of metal in there too.
The silk stuff that I've been using, some of it has stuff to kind of give it a shimmer in it. But this filament really shouldn't have had anything in it, and I'm not real sure. There's little black flakes that have shown up, so I'm guessing that was left over from the last print that I did.
Shot by a phantom boat.
They
Was shot by a phantom boat.
It was shot by a
Pirate
phantom
ship.
boat, yeah. They do actually, they make filament cleaner. Filament that's designed to clean, you print so many prints and then you run filament cleaner through it and it'll empty whatever residue is left behind. I think the only reason why we can even see that is because it's white. That's down inside. That's down in the infill area. But I said that I would bring that and show it off. Patty already claimed this. She was like, "Oh, that's a really nice one. I'm going to put that one on my benchy shelf." She has like 40 or 50 benches. And I said, "That's fine. You could put it on your benchy shelf, but this one is a high whatever print." So, it even feels tougher. It doesn't feel like it would break as easy. It's just a wild print.
So how much does a reel of that fiber cost?
How big do you want it?
$15 plus. They started $14 and change for a standard 2 kilo spool. And I've seen stuff that's fancy that goes up to 30.
Yeah.
And how many feet would be on this? How many feet of fiber?
I don't know.
It's generally it's a 1 kilo roll.
I
Yeah.
thought it was 2.
So that's a kilometer?
No, kilogram.
kilogram.
Kilogram. So this goes by weight, not by length.
Yeah. And if you buy like Micro Center's brand, the Inland brand, you can find them for between $15 and $24, depending upon what you want, or less. Sometimes it's even less than that. But I'd say a good average price is $25. If you start buying name brand stuff, you're going to pay 35 to 60.
Yeah, I'm looking at Micro Center's page and almost everything is $18.99 or $19.99 for the 1.75 millimeter stuff. It comes in different diameters too, but almost everybody uses the 1.75.
Now, in that benchy you've got there,
Yep.
how many reels goes into that?
Not even.
You could make 100 benchies. Probably.
Okay.
Pretty easy.
What's it weigh? Who's got their precision drug scale with them?
I don't have my prescription.
You don't lose any for the most part. I mean, there's a little bit of odor that you're losing too, but what goes in is what comes out. So a kilogram of plastic is a kilogram of print.
Okay.
Unless you're doing multiple colors.
Yeah.
If you're doing multiple colors, you're losing some.
Structural supports.
Yeah, if you need supports, a lot of designs lately that I've seen are designed not to use supports. It's really kind of cool. The whole thing from beginning to end, it's taken a huge turn. I mean, back in the day, you were limited on choice of color. You had solid color, that was it. No extra stuff. Now you can go in there and you can get rainbows and all kinds of funky stuff. And
so according to Reddit, benchy takes 4.2 meters of filament and weighs 13 grams. So you could get 76 benchies out of a spool.
Okay.
I would think that would depend on how you infill it too, right? I mean,
Benchy doesn't use infill.
If you use the solid, that's.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Sorry.
There's infill in there.
Yeah, I was thinking supports. If you download the Benchy STL, that's already done.
Is it already built into it?
Yeah, well, wait, is it?
I don't know. I thought I could change that.
Yeah, you can. Okay.
I mean, that's.
Blame it on Reddit.
I mean, if I made that 100%,
It'd definitely be more than 13 grams.
it would take for flipping ever to print.
So this is 13 grams at 20% infill and 2 parameters.
Okay. So I printed mine at 15%, so probably a little bit less.
Now, that's PLA, right?
Yes. This one is.
Okay. Now, will that dissolve in like alcohol or gasoline or some other solvent?
It's got all the same properties as as plastic.
Well, as
Okay.
that particular plastic.
As that particular.
Some plastics melt in gasoline quite readily. I don't think PLA does, but don't get acetone on it.
Yeah, I think acetone, you use acetone to glue them together, yeah.
Yeah,
So ketones will dissolve it, but alcohol, rubbing alcohol, that kind of thing won't bother it.
right.
Water,
And PLA melts at a what is that, 200 C?
Yeah,
Is that C or F?
215 with a bed temp around 60.
Yeah.
C,
So, C, yeah, so
pretty warm.
if you get a really hot day and you have it sitting in your car, it could melt,
It did.
which has happened to me.
Yeah, don't mix stuff that you're going to leave on the dash out of black PLA.
Because it will melt, especially on a really hot day.
Is it flammable at all?
It's plastic. Yes.
Suppose we could try it.
well, kind of lighter.
You don't want to get kicked out of midpoint. Okay.
ABS is another popular. ABS has a higher melting point, so that's the one that you should be using if you going to be around a lot of heat. It's also a little harder to print.
Or nylon, which is really hard to print.
Yeah. There's this new one that I saw, PECT maybe. That
Never heard of
yeah, it's
polycarbonate.
it's brand new.
Yeah.
It's within the last 3 months I've started to hear stuff about it, and it shares some of the same properties as ABS, but it's as easy to print as PLA. So it's tough. It's hard to break. It's not as brittle as PLA, and it's
ASA, right?
no. I see if I can find it.
I'm finding polycarbonate. 250 to 270 print, 90 to 105 plate temperature. I don't know if I can get my bed that hot.
It's like what I was looking at ASA to leave a replacement for ABS. That's what the guy who built a car body out of. Let's do that Bugatti or whatever. Problem with all that stuff we gotta think. Well, that's little in the area.
That's probably because of the heat.
ABS and ASA line up. NBC.
And there's a PVA as well, polyvinyl acetate.
That's the
Oh, that's nasty stuff.
no. This isn't that. This is supposed to be extremely friendly, friendly, easy to print.
ABS and ASA is not. I mean, that's like what Legos are made out of. Once they're formed, they're pretty much indestructible outside of high, super high temperature and setting it on fire. Water, that's pretty much inert weather.
It's not. Of course, I don't see it now. It's supposed to be a replacement or something very similar to PETG.
I don't know what that is.
The ETG is,
Is polyethylene.
Okay.
yeah, it's a,
There's a really nice video on YouTube that goes through all the different plastics, like 15 different kinds. I watched a while back. A lot of them been around for a while, but it's really hard to find them because a lot of people don't make them for the printer reviews. I have pretty running printer room and thing. That's
So could you print with Teflon?
Probably not. If you get Teflon liquid, it doesn't even stick to itself. PETG is polyethylene terephthalate glycol.
Okay.
carbon fiber.
Well,
That's
that's not,
tungsten too.
yeah.
It's not,
It's,
well, it's not true, yeah,
Still-
but I mean,
it's
got
carbon
carbon fiber.
reinforced plastic.
that makes some pretty cool stuff too.
I am almost
Fiberglass,
positive this had a C in it somewhere.
PETG CF.
That's carbon fiber, that wouldn't be easier to print than ABS, would it?
250 to 290 degree print temperature. That's cool.
That's more than my printer can do.
Yeah, I don't think mine can.
Yeah, I have pretty special equipment to go faster, yes. You have to have hardened tips and all kinds of crap. I've done a lot of digging. I was wanting to see what it takes to convert it into, and just might as well go buy one and do it out of the gate. By the time you place the heads, the nozzle, and the
Okay.
yeah. Put a cage around it. Find one and see it out.
When my kid and I got the preset, we wanted to play with it at work, but our boss walked through while we were putting it together and was obviously displeased that it was there. So we ended up putting it in a Xerox printer box. We cut down by this much so it would fit underneath a counter. And it still had the plastic locks on the bottom of the box that hold it together. That worked so well. We had a light in there, you couldn't tell. Had a camera, had a little box to print. And it was a double wall cardboard box. You couldn't hear it. It was great. We had it there at work for 6-8 months.
There's quite a while. It was there when I picked up the.
It was hilarious. And he didn't know.
The one thing that.
You couldn't smell it?
Nope.
Yeah.
The box wasn't vented.
Like I said, PLA is pretty mild.
Yeah.
I smell it every now and then, not nearly as much as when I've tried ABS.
Mhm.
That has a smell to it.
Yeah.
Well, that's toxic.
Oh, nice. I was sitting right next to my
Yeah,
printer and killing myself. That's what you're saying.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I'm saying. The ABS, you got to plant in the back, if you're in a ventilated area or garage or something to get.
Well,
Should have had it in the boss's office.
You know,
I am not seeing this new. I'm gonna have to find the article at home again when
that's the trick with ABS too, is if you need a certain amount of temperature to keep the adhesion. So that's why you usually want one with the sides and everything. At the same time, you want the air to be stagnant, which it puts off top of the fumes.
So that's exactly what I found with ABS was the Cobra 3 it's an open frame.
Yeah.
It printed and it was fine-ish, but it did not hold the heat well, and it really didn't like it. I put the ABS in the old flash forge, which is mostly enclosed. And it printed, it was beautiful. It was
Yeah.
a beautiful print. And I'm like, okay. Few tweaks. It still needed some tweaks, but the problem with the flash forge is it will only go to 230 on the temperature, and the bed will only go up to 100. And the ABS wants it around 250, and it wasn't overly happy about it, but it
Did it?
Yeah.
Pushed it in there and pumped it out.
yeah it worked, but it definitely was not a happy print. So I have a roll of ABS that I'm probably not going to be able to use much.
That's one of the reasons I was looking at the bamboo. Some crazy stuff I'd like to play with, but
I know
if I start printing, I'm gonna need a job for an income for making this up plastic.
Well, it takes longer to go through a spool than I would have expected.
Yeah.
well, it depends on if you're printing 30 dragons for somebody or not.
Yeah.
For a car.
Or
I don't think I'd go for something that size.
it most of my prints are relatively small, and a spool will last a very long time.
70, what did you say, 76, 78?
Yep. 76, I think.
But
a few.
My buddy got the bamboo and showed up like 2 weeks ago. He's already gone through a wheel and a half of black and went back for white.
well,
But he's been printing, pretty much constantly.
when I
He says,
got
"You'd be shocked how much it takes to make something, or how little it takes to make stuff."
when I got the Cobra, and the Cobra was new to me and multicolor, I went through 2 or 3 spools of filament just playing because I had to play. I had to see what that thing would do.
I'm gonna tell him all this stuff he's making. This kid's making like Chinese stars and
Mhm.
all kinds of shit. Yeah. He made like 49 for his drawer and cup holder and pin holders. Stuff with paper clips and crap.
I think the next thing I want to print is a big digital clock, big 7-segment display. So I'm looking for something that's nicely translucent. But I don't want clear. But I want to put the WS 2818s or whatever behind it.
Yeah.
So could you print optical components, in other words, a lens out of clear plastic?
Not one that you would want to look through.
Okay. So you could do
That, and you had STLs for the lenses. What I would do is print them in PLA and then put them in what do they call it, a vapor chamber or whatever. Actually, I would end up creating a mold and then making them out of clear epoxy.
Yeah.
oh, okay.
What are you wanting to make out of them, or is just a general question?
Well, I've done a lot of optics in the last period of time. And one of the things, and I had a laser company back in the 90s, And one of the things that we made were optical components to structure the beam coming out of the laser. I think that's the simplest way of putting it. And some of those components were hand ground. In other words, you got a tech sitting there using abrasive on some kind of a surface to make this optical structure. A lot of the structures we made were cylindrical. In other words, think of a pencil split in half, and they were in that kind of a structure. So I was wondering if you could take a clear plastic and create that structure automatically with a laser printer, with a 3D printer, because the labor content in those optical components was awe-inspiring. Let me put it that way. You got some guy that you're paying Humpty Hump bucks an hour, and he's sitting there grinding this little lens for 2 days in a row. So I was just wondering
I understand.
what the capability of the technology is.
I asked for two reasons. Anytime I've had the ability to snag a big lens like a rear projection TV or an optical device like that, I've a telescope or whatever, I've stashed away the lenses. So I was thinking if you had a particular reason, I might be a resource for the lens.
Oh, this was
Purely theoretical.
Well, this is 25 years ago. I was running this company. Okay. So
I had a guy that was grinding the lenses for his own telescope
yeah,
back in the 70s, and he had a room in his basement where there was a completely enclosed in plastic, and he would go in and squirt everything down with a garden hose and spray himself off and go in and work for several hours a night. And at the end of a month, he'd still have scratches. It's like,
yeah.
it was a dedicated hobby.
Yeah, well, it, there was a period back in the 50s or 60s where I was interested in making telescopes, for celestial observation. Let me put it that way, as opposed to looking to the into the windows of the sorority house next door. And and that process involved taking a circular slab of glass and you put it on a tool that consists of, I forget what the material was, and put abrasive on it and then go in a certain pattern. And people actually built machines to do this. But now this was reflective optics as opposed to transmissive optics.
Yeah.
So what I was asking about was transmissive optics. Reflective optics is a difference because all you're doing is producing a surface which you're going to silver and like making a reflective telescope.
So the fact that plastic would be durable enough to make it worth the time. The laser would probably eat it or something.
Yeah, depending on laser power, it wouldn't last long.
Oh, you're talking about, okay. So you're saying that if you're using a transmissive optic, that the laser itself would destroy the plastic.
Yeah,
Okay.
You're not saying there can't be some kind of funky sand version of plastic you can melt together, but it probably done via like an injection molding or thermal, where it's not gonna be printed or. But even then, I wouldn't think it'd hold up here as well as glass.
Well, actually, this was fused silica quartz. And so because it was a near UV laser, 308 nanometers, and ordinary soda-lime glass or borosilicate glass doesn't have enough transmission to use that. So you use fused silica, essentially melted and restructured SiO2.
I worked at a company that made really high intensity ultraviolet lights. And we were trying different kinds of glass to better direct airflow around them to keep them cool. And we got this one in that just glowed this gorgeous purple and decided we couldn't use it because too many people would be looking at the lamps. It was pretty. I've seen one LED that glows that pinky purple color. I haven't been able to find them again since. They used to have them on display at Debco. And every time I'd go in, it's like, have you got any of these in yet? Nope, just the display.
Well, you may have heard me say this in the past. I was doing some monitoring at the blast furnace, and the hot metal that was coming out was a beautiful color of violet. It was just hot as can be. And I'm observing what I'm testing. So I need to stick around, but I'm not 100% focused on that. And I am looking at the iron, and I've got my foot up on the toe rail, got my hands on the handrail, and a heater helper comes out, steps on the toe rail, grabs a hold of the handrail, and says, "I'd rather look at that than naked women."
Okay.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
Well, 308 is a little deeper in the UV because what you see drops off pretty fast after you get below 400 nanometers. And 308 will do a pretty good job of sunburning you. You had to be very careful around this because you wore goggles to protect your eyes, but the text would come out sometimes, and if they didn't have the protective shields up, they looked like raccoons.
Yep.
They had thing around their eyes.
You just don't know what the spectral surfaces are in conditions like that. But I've got nothing to help you.
Well, that job is long since gone. Not forgotten, but gone. So
circling way back to Steve's thing about whatever, I completely forgot what it's called now because we got off and talked, but
Debco LEDs.
the Debco, maybe the LEDs had like a filter on it. Like
No, they were just They were clear,
Just nice.
clear lenses, yeah, and it was like there were two chips in there, a red and a
Yeah,
ultraviolet, and they were pretty.
an interesting color.
Yeah,
Um,
that was when cases all had 5mm LEDs in them. I had a couple of cases that I had cobalt blue LEDs in, and I wanted a set of those.
the filament for your digital clock,
Translucent.
translucent. I used translucent to print a case for some of those other LEDs, and it worked pretty well as a diffuser. I also I used white for one with a really thin first layer.
Well, actually, if it's dim, I'm good because I want it in the bedroom.
But it would change how the LEDs look. I think they have something called ice blue.
Okay.
It's pretty much a translucent blue. It is very pretty. But I think it would probably, because it would be filtering through blue, I think it would change how your LEDs look.
Yeah, I can probably deal with that. I like blue.
Well, you could always compensate for the fact that it's filtering through blue and use a different color.
Yeah.
I wish I would have brought some. We printed some toys for Easter in that translucent blue, and they're gorgeous. The only downside to it is you can see the infill. I mean, look right through it and see the infill that's there. But if for something that's going to have LEDs behind it, who cares?
Yeah.
So what kind of toys were these, Leroy?
Bunny rabbits for the grandkids. Because I am a toy maker. I'm not a maker anymore. I make toys.
You're Santa.
We're putting together Easter baskets, and Patty said, "Can you make me a bunny?" And I said, "Yeah, probably." And so I printed it, and she goes, "Perfect. Now I need 7 of these."
I can print it time, but no.
Well, actually, they're decent size, so they're. I might have been able to get 2 on the bed at once, maybe. We got toys.
No, this is yours.
Oh, it's mine.
No, XP.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
The Windows XP disk.
No. Laptop stuff.
Ah,
I'm very pleased to see you're not in El Salvador.
You hear him?
No,
He's very pleased that you're not in El Salvador.
El Salvador.
El-
I'm not there. Okay. I just escaped. Wow.
The keyboard without
I
the
came for
backlight.
the big monitor. Where is it? What's broken, right?
Backup CDs.
Yeah, Windows.
Yeah, Windows. Yeah. Cool. Another power supply.
Finally, it wasn't the power supply, so this is. Those are, I think, new or
Oh,
negotiated. I don't know.
you can always use more power supplies. Have a backup. Cool. Thank you, sir.
You already show the
Nope,
camera roll
nope,
a long time.
you,
You mentioned you needed
I was
switches.
chasing whales in close to Canada.
chasing whales, yeah.
Oh. See the MX switches.
Yep.
Wow. Okay.
So that one is clickier than I would have expected when it's in a keyboard.
This is banana.
Yeah, that's a Gateron banana, Pro Banana. And that's one of my favorite switches.
Perry doesn't have the banana.
No, but these are cherry.
I like the feeling of it.
Program it.
So I will design some keywords. Brown.
Oh, the home run ball. Did the ball fall over?
I knew that.
Well, it lost, I guess. It lost the ball.
I saw this camera in AliExpress. This is the
MU Vision,
there are two versions.
are there?
One is more expensive, identify period tags. And the other one only color blocks or something like that.
This one will do color blocks, it'll do, it's got some shapes that it'll identify and, arrows.
Who is the maker of this?
Morphus, something like that. The biggest problem with it is it's kind of slow. It's not. It doesn't have really good range on it. Like it'll lose the ball out. Yeah,
Maybe aim the camera down a little bit.
But
Doesn't seem
it tries
to
to
make a
keep a distance or just following?
yeah. No, it tries to keep a distance. See if I try to bring it closer. Now I changed the program a little bit. I put the search in it so that it
Usually the lighting affects a lot the sensor.
this is better lighting than at the house. I put
Can you
this
specify the color, or you train it with a ball?
it already had
I mean, you can use red or blue or whatever.
yeah
How do you specify the color?
you
In software or training?
you don't it identifies a ball.
The shape.
Yeah, that's one of the things.
That's curious.
Kind of thinks that's a ball.
Yeah, it's round.
It's round, right? It's kind of confused by it too. It's like, is it? It's an ESP.
Must.
It's an ESP32, or which surprised me.
They sell the models separately, the parts.
I think so. This was a Kickstarter a long time ago, and I just started messing with it.
How long you were waiting for that?
I don't know. I'm pretty sure this one came on time, but yeah, I probably should not have put the whole search thing in. So I probably should have just left it. We could try. Oh.
And then on it, so every time it gets close, it closes it. Hey.
So the module in the back is power,
Yeah,
the charger or something. You use
There's a big
lipo batteries.
there's a big battery pack. And then
Inside this.
that's a Atmega 1280. Lost it. There it is.
I ordered a robot for $30 from AliExpress with camera. So it's an ESP32 with the plastic attachment to move the camera forward. But I don't know if they will stop it at the customs
Yeah,
because of the tariff.
I've got
Yeah, I got lots of stuff to find out about that on.
Maybe in the middle of something.
I've got some stuff coming.
How they manage that? They send you a mail or something to play difference or
Well, the
something
sender
new?
may not know about
Maybe
it.
millions of packages in the middle.
Yeah, the sender may not know that it's happened. I'm sure that we've got lots of infrastructure in place already for how they can send in the tariffs. So.
Usually you pay for it when you order,
Right,
not in another transaction with the custom order or whatever.
You go to the post office and pay the fee or whatever it is.
Robert Foods,
Yeah, kind of. This robot was, I know it came from Kickstarter, and it 4 or 5 years ago, and this is the first I've.
you have a servo in the camera in the
Mhm.
front.
It was meant for it was it's called a moonbot, and it has a little body, a little head, and an arm, and it was meant to shoot basketballs. This was the basketball.
This a kit you buy separately or
It came all,
with the arm?
yeah,
How much was that? 100 something.
$200.
It's very well done, the metal stuff.
I just there's only like 10 or 15 different things that the camera can see, and there's no real way to update it. It doesn't really look like you can change the profile of them.
I will share my camera with the guys.
See, the ball got too far away. I can't see it now. It was working.
in,
It was.
no.
There, it did something. Okay.
So the camera only sees forward. So if you move the ball to the side, it'll be out of range.
If the ball goes too far forward, it's out of range.
No, but what happens if you move it quickly to the side of the robot?
That's the problem. It's not fast, so it loses track of it. So if I move it too fast, see it starts to track it, and then it lost it. And then I don't think it can really decide.
Supposedly it calculate the size of the block and change the distance.
It's got two ball profiles built into it, one for ping pong ball size and one for tennis ball size.
You can see the image in your browser or something.
No, they didn't. They didn't make it. And I mean, I looked all over their wiki for how to do stuff, and it's
See what it's
it's another one of those. It's half baked. Their instructions are.
It happens all the time.
If I just tap it and it moves slow, it's fine. But if we make it go too fast,
It does it.
it lost track of it. Their instructions are all right, but they're not. It's not. It's more of okay. I looked in the library to see how some of this stuff is put together, and I'm still kind of confused by some of it. They have some okay code for
You have,
some of it.
well, this is a standalone board with the camera and serial or I2C.
This is using serial. It could do either or. It could do either or.
And this is an ESP32 communicating with a specific protocol.
So it is an ESP32, but the Wi-Fi is turned off on it right now. There's two dip switches that can turn the Wi-Fi back on. I cannot get, if I turn the Wi-Fi on the camera, I cannot get it to talk to the microcontroller.
Oh.
Yeah.
So this is for streaming or just to talk with it?
Apparently it will stream, but you have to give it the IP address or the Wi-Fi credentials.
How?
You're supposed to be able to program
to do that.
this to tell this, and I cannot get it to talk to it. It's just absolutely the sketches for this were all written with this talk communicating at 11,502 baud rate, which is not right. It will only communicate at 9,600 baud.
But you have M5 stack modules that do the same thing, right? You can put together the camera and how is called the brain of the M5 stack, the big one.
It's an ES
Core
yeah
or something. the same size. almost.
I didn't until last night before, I didn't realize this was an ESP32. I thought it was something else, and I was like,
But this is no
but
power
no,
enough to do
yeah,
faster things. You know.
and
But actually, I made a program that detect 3 balls simultaneously,
I know,
25 times per second. So it's
I know
fast.
this thing's way underpowered for what it is, and they said that they were going. This was like 2 years ago. They said they were going to come out with being able to read QR codes and all that. None of that ever happened.
I will try to pack my code in a camera, just to specify color and distance or whatever, and use it like a slave for a robot.
So the it's got a color profile, but you have to tell it what color to look for. So you can't do like I was thinking you could do like red and green or red and yellow and green. So you could set up like a traffic light or something. But it will only look for one color. So you could set it up to look for red, and that's it. But it does do shape. It will recognize triangle, circle,
This one? That's good.
triangle, circle, cross.
In any position? Or it must stay,
The card has to.
because it's easy, it's in the same position is easy because you compute all the pixels
Mhm.
and you compare with a
They
triangle of this area and try to match how.
Yeah, that's actually what their document says is something. They're doing it with a square, not a triangle, but it has to be in that orientation because it's expecting to see the pixels in that orientation. But it will do that. It will do numbers, and it will do like robot command. Go forward, back up, stop, spin, that kind of stuff. So you could still set up like a little map.
Predefined labels or images, right?
Yeah,
Go with the image and it identifies the go, back, right, left,
well,
arrows or
what
letters.
part of that's arrows, like the U-turn to make a 360 is a U. But it doesn't actually, it sends an ID number down the serial. So you, in the software, you still gotta go, okay, ID 1 is go forward, or ID 2 is. But, and then, it's got like those profiles, right? It's got the robot profile, it's got the color profiles.
What happened? He's looking for the.
Yeah, it won't see it. It's too far away now.
What is that ball? Is it a ping pong ball or what?
Ping pong ball, a yellow ping pong ball. And it's identifying it as being number
The
one.
problem is that it's slow, but it's working. Can go.
Yeah,
slow.
it works as long as the ball moves slow. Balls don't move slow.
Yeah, that's.
And I probably shouldn't have put the search routine in. I probably should have just let it sit there and not find the ball. But I was playing, I wanted to see.
So what's the little blue flashy lights on the front of it?
So
Lisa,
if you take the ball away from it, you'll see that they turn red.
oh,
Blue just means that it acquired the ball. Red means that it hasn't acquired the ball. It's searching. It's also the only way that I have been able to figure out that it's actually talking to the camera. Because there was been a couple of the programs I tried that I saw no lights at all, and I was like, well, why am I seeing no lights? And I changed a couple of things in the program, and then it started working.
so this is acquiring the image or the target optically. This is not acoustic or whatever.
Oh, it's
No.
now it's going too far. It is acquiring the image via basically an ESP32 cam.
An ESP32
Yeah.
last
Smoking. It's all.
So when it loses it, does it go into a routine search pattern?
I added the search pattern to it. And that's, I don't think I should have. I think I should have left that alone. It also,
Can move this.
the on, if you turn it off, you can, it's. It also has a body detection program, which isn't on there right now. And that seems to work fairly well.
And what kind of a sensor does that use?
Same one.
Oh, really? Okay.
Camera.
I would say that this shows just how far advances in smart technology has come. Because this has to be early in that whole.
I was wondering if the orange would. If it was actually just looking for the circle mostly.
No, I've put several different things in front of it. That's kind of interesting though, that
It's like being the circle.
it's identity in the circle.
Wrong shoe.
But this kind of shows just how far along.
Cheap stuff gotten.
Well, I mean, we've got cameras now that yeah, can identify hundreds of things, not just a half a dozen things. It's still got it still knows about it. It still knows about it. And cameras that are fast at identifying stuff. This was early. This was an early version of.
An early version a year after they finished the hardware.
Yeah.
They stopped working on it. Surely.
I don't really know what happened to this company. I mean, their wiki is still up, and they're still selling stuff.
The wiki is still
They're still selling this kit, but it doesn't look like they're actually working on it.
So they were
like
one product company.
They started with the camera, apparently. And then they expanded that apparently. Oh, Ray's here. I'm not paying any attention, Ray's here. But apparently they're a two product company that
So,
You're muted, Ray.
Ray's mumming.
That's still pretty cool.
Thing is it does actually work. It's
Maybe he's shy.
almost looks like the batteries are starting to go. I lost it.
Depends on your track.
So how long does it run on a single charge?
I don't know.
We're finding out right now, longer than it's been.
I've had it plugged in. I plugged it in for a while. But literally I have not used this robot. I mean, it was in a box for at least 2 years. But who knows how good that battery actually is.
I'm kind of curious that it hasn't moved the camera up and down at all.
It's
Is that
not
turned on?
supposed, it's not supposed to. If we were doing body detection,
Mhm.
it would sweep up and down instead of sweeping left and right.
Well, it moves pretty quickly when it backs up.
Left and right.
Well, it does.
Well, if they go fast or left,
It's,
yeah.
yeah, it is
Starts
what it,
going counterclockwise, like, but its last direction was it was going right.
yeah, well, that's me.
It only seeks going
For,
counterclockwise.
well, but I'm just saying, the fact that hey, it was here and it's going this way and it goes right. So
So-
if the ball goes past a certain like fraction of a second.
So yeah, if I was smarter than I am, I would have
Keep it
made
tracking
it
that way.
go one way or the other, yeah. But I'm not that smart. So.
Well, I'm just, it needs a longer window of surface.
Yeah, that's what it needs. It needs more of a delay between search and go this way. Come on. You're gonna fall off the table.
Learn to accelerate.
Yeah, see, that's funny too, because it's actually set to travel at 100. Not these short little bursts.
Well, opposite on there was the first.
I've got a white light on the power supply, which I don't think I've seen before. I don't know what that means.
Means it's about to run out of juice.
Right, according to, well, there's 3 bars. 3 out of 4, so I think it's still got juice. I don't particularly like that it can't track it very far. I mean, its range is very close. but it does work.
I was gonna say, I'm wondering if part of that's the color of the side of the object or the. Maybe the shade.
it works. It's just not,
Yes, it's slow maybe.
it's just not great. It's. And I think a lot of it has to do with being early detection routines and early.
What are the motors on?
Motors.
I mean, it's a nice little chassis. It's good size.
Inside this plastic. Things.
Some gear motor, probably very similar to the TT motors.
I don't know. Turns pretty smooth.
I think there's encoders in those motors.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Sweet.
You can look, these are the motor connectors right here, and there's 4 lines, 5 lines. It's got an IMU on it too, so it's not a bad robot, it's just a bad camera. It's just a slow camera.
That's plenty cheap with the ball.
Should teach it to play soccer.
Yeah. Soccer would be good.
Double in the front.
Have it push it with the camera.
You got shoes.
Those are what they're naming the ports. S's, I believe, are for the servos.
Okay.
So the kit came with 3 or 4 servos. I think 3 servos. The P ports, I think there's 8 P ports. 8 P ports. Those are your digital and analog ports and serial communication ports. And then there's 2 motor ports, which I think the motors have encoders built into them. But this is what I've been playing with this week. And it's the main controller is an Atmega 1280. The camera is an ESP32.
Use the bench,
Anyway,
the boat.
I don't think you'll find the boat.
It's not round.
It's not
Or
round.
orange.
Well, is that because of color or shape?
Shape. I've got some plastic balls that the grandkids play with, and it recognizes them as tennis balls, not as what they are. They're bigger than the ping pong ball, so it says it's a tennis ball. The problem is it doesn't track them real well because they're too big. They take up the camera, and it just doesn't track them real well. Oh, okay. Yeah.
It's getting closer because it's smaller.
It's smaller, yeah.
So it started out big.
Take a picture of this.
No, it's small again.
Thought so.
Gotta love phones.
My phone's not doing what I told it to
Square.
do. I think we lost Ray again.
Yep.
That's interesting. Inventive writing.
It's Lincoln blue there.
What's the shape? It's the shape.
So basically, it's a bird dog.
It tracked that one pretty well. That was moving a little faster.
That just confused me. Like, who hates me? Why did I?
I can see it now. Oh, the rise of the robots. We gotta take out Steve. He's hit one of us in the head with a ping pong.
With a ping pong ball.
The veggie brain.
Yep.
Yeah, from
Just a little too quick.
So something.
Then she fell off.
Benchy in the gears.
Put a roller on the dig in, you can ride on the
I wanted to stick with.
trash at this point.
I was thinking a chopstick with a thread.
I had a ball stuck on a stick and I could not get it to track it at all.
Hmm.
Yeah. Come on. See if you. It's just not fast enough. Yeah. It's just not fast enough. When it sees it, it sees it. It does a pretty good job. But good night. I thought about bringing some of the shape cards in. Really, we don't need a commercial.
Chipotle?
I love that.
I thought about bringing some of the shape cards in because it sees the shape cards better than it sees the ball. And then setting them up and saying go to like the star or whatever and have it just drive through. but it sees the, uh, all the shapes and all the numbers and all that. It doesn't do real good with, the color black. If you tell it to look for black, it thinks everything is black, so. But if you tell it to look for any of the other colors, it seems like it does pretty good with that. And it seems like it could see the color cards a little bit further away than the ball too. Maybe because it's moving. I really don't know why this has to be so close to it for it to see them.
I think with tennis ball, obviously, it's gonna, even if you've got an orange tennis ball, it should track it, but stay further away.
So um from what I read on the Wikipedia, it does identify this. It's got two balls shapes that it can track. It's got the tennis ball and it's got the ping pong ball.
Mhm.
The color doesn't really enter into it so much, but it does say that if the ball is green, it is much more likely to be identified as a tennis ball. So I would love to find a green ping pong ball and see if it tells me it's a tennis ball
I've got two ping pong balls.
from St. Patty's Day.
It's
No, from work.
my
So what happens is
ESP32
tennis ball.
camera detecting colors.
The color of the ball doesn't really seem to make a whole big bit of difference. It does seem to be size.
Mhm.
Identify the color and the position.
So that was fun.
Fast.
Yeah, what you did was really fast on limited hardware.
You can see the floor or simultaneously. I changed the green for red, the blue for green. I identify the color and change the color to show it.
Dun, dun, dun. Are you going to join us in Mason next
Yeah.
week?
I hope so, yeah. And here.
Experience the wonders of Mason.
I need to go to Florida, but next month. How was the tornadoes close to your house? No problem.
We got a lot of wind. We didn't get it.
We had some trees in the road. But no problem.
Yeah, we got, I think there's still a couple of roads where they're clearing out trees, but.
Supposedly it will be raining until Sunday.
Yeah,
Rain.
well. If we look at that, it should be raining right now.
It's supposed to be raining on all the way over. Must have been ahead of it. It was dry and everything.
Did you have any flooding?
We got flood warnings. But no, I don't think we got any
We must
flooding.
carry a lot of water.
No. Kind of looks like people might be gathering outside the door. I wonder if we have to give up the room
They are treating us.
at 7.
Well, was this a short meeting?
No, this one wasn't supposed to be. This one was supposed to last till 7, so. Our short meetings are in May. May, the first week in May, were 5:30 to 7:30. So the meeting actually isn't short. It's just the time that we could get the room is different. And the second meeting is 15 minutes shorter, I think. If I remember that off the top of my head. May and June, I think, have short meetings. And our second meeting at Mason, just to see if the Wi-Fi improves or if it's still kind of crappy. That's our lot. We have meetings where Wi-Fi doesn't work. So. But in the meantime, I booked us clear until June. I think that was the latest I could book.
Art, do you miss Skylight Chili?
I'm sorry?
Do you miss Skylight Chili? The food,
Skyline.
Skyline. Chili.
Oh, no. My wife doesn't particularly care for that cuisine.
Well, then we don't need to mail you any.
They do sell it in cans.
Yeah. $6 a can.
Is that what that?
Like $5.85. It's crazy.
Just go and enjoy a nice meal.
Yeah.
For that price.
So I will get one of the best breakfasts. I've got a big crepe skillet. 1 egg, let it go out flat, flip it. Skyline chili, mustard and cheese, roll it up like a burrito. It's really good. It's really good.
Yeah.
Do they do any vegetarian chili?
Nobody does that's sane. Yes, you can get vegetarian chili, but why not just eat beans?
Beans and pasta.
I don't know.
Anyway, they don't put too much meat in this mix, so no worries. It's all very
It's almost vegetarian. There's almost no meat in this meat.
exactly. Tomato sauce and
Someplace now you gotta wonder. Is we really need this or is this fake news?
Oh,
Well, there's 2 different chili places there, as I recall. One is Skyline. What's the other one?
Gold Star.
And Empress.
Oh,
And Camp Washington.
Are they significantly different?
I only try
Skyline.
Sorry for shallow more.
Yeah, Gold Star is more of a restaurant. They sell hamburgers and
Well, yeah, that's new.
some other stuff.
The frames down a little more. Just feel everybody.
Diner style or something.
Yeah, if you believe their advertising or whatever, they started off as a hamburger place and turned into a
Didn't
chili place, and
I know.
now they're back
I
to
was saying,
their
their burgers
roots.
are pretty good though, so.
Mhm. Yeah, Gold Star's got a decent menu.
Chili's gotten a lot better.
Yeah.
It used to be awfully watery.
From
And I always thought Skyline was, well, their spaghetti's a lot wetter at
Yeah.
Skyline.
So they don't drain something.
Yeah.
Well, that comes down to.
Well, Skyline here is a bit different than Skyline in Middletown too. You order a hot dog
Mhm.
with just cheese on it, like I like to get. And they put 2 hot dogs in the bun.
Yeah,
Okay,
That's
Yeah,
pretty normal if you don't.
Yeah,
eat
it's-
chili.
it's a real.
yeah, they don't do that here. You get 1 hot dog.
The
really.
one here's, yes,
Strange.
Yeah.
Same size, but one.
there's a smaller. too.
Yeah.
Well, those hot dogs are only this long also, so.
Yeah, the one that Bethel, if you ordered without the chili, you get 2 hot dogs.
Yeah. I've only, this one gives you 1. And the one in Springboro gives you 1. It's bizarre.
Their cups are a lot smaller too. Than the hot dogs are about earlier. Houston is like a bit shorter than the one in Bethel.
I'm shutting down. We're late. I'm shutting down.
Okay,
Bye.
you're getting kicked